Hello and welcome to Square Balloon Actions and Tutorials. In this tutorial we're going to do a little bit of selective blurring in Photoshop CS6. This will work for earlier versions as well because I'm going to be using lens blur rather than the blur gallery that comes with CS6. So we have our image here straight out of camera, and I'm just going to do a few little bits of editing with it, and then we're going to do our selective blurring after that. So we've got our image here, and the first thing that I want to do is I want to do a recrop so that she's a little bit, she looks a little bit tilting almost towards upside down there. So we're going to recrop like that. Yeah, I'd say that's probably all right like that. And then we're going to fill in the edges here. Probably just do that with the the clone tool. Should be all right. Up at 100%. And as with all cloning, it's best to keep sampling so that you don't have a repeat pattern. And what I want to do is I want to get rid of this line across here. I don't want to be able to see that because it's already tilted this way, so I just want to blur that, just to mask the fact that that's where the horizon was. So on a new layer, I'm going to just use my paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint over that. That is going over the baby as well, but I'm going to mask that back. So I've got an opacity now of 50%. Let me just clone the edge of this one as well. Okay, so that's cloned there. And again with the paintbrush, we'll go up to 100% for the top bit. Again, sampling all the time. So I want to make this corner up here a little bit paler, so I'm going to make a big soft brush, lower the opacity down. Okay, so that line is gone now, so we just have to mask back where it has gone over the baby here. I'll do that by going back to the original image on the bottom layer here and using the quick selection tool and just clicking and dragging. Just so none of that painted background goes over her. Okay, we can refine the edge there. That looks fine. And then because I've selected her, I'm going to hold down Alt as I click on my mask, and then she's automatically masked back. So a quick on and off of the layer visibility. We can see where we might need to bring back in a little bit, like here. So if I paint with black on that mask there, it brings it back in again, and that's fine. So let's flatten that down and just have another look at our image. I'll delete this one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We'll just even up the background here. And maybe make this a little bit paler. Sometimes just painting over bits that you want, say if you want to lessen the shadow of this, if you just paint it over with a low opacity brush of the colour that's there, then that's usually fine. And just very quickly I'm going to use the eraser tool just to get little bits that I painted over the baby there. Okay, so now we're going to deal with her skin before we start doing our blurring, and I'm going to just run my actions on these. Skin smoothing first, just because she had a little bit of the blotchy bits on her legs. So we'll even up that skin tone. I'm going to use the spot healing tool just to get rid of the little nicks she had on her nose. And I'm going to use the eye define to bring her eyes out a little bit clearer and lighten up. I'm going to use this in a couple of places. I'm going to use it here just to bring a little bit more light to this leg here, and then across here. So let's pull back. That looks pretty good. Now to my eye the skin looks a little bit magenta, so I'm going to get my paintbrush, 100% opacity. I'm going to click on the quick mask tool, so I just select her skin. This doesn't have to be really neat, because you can always paint back over your mask once you've finished to tidy it up. So I just want to bring a little bit of yellow to that skin colour. Okay, click the quick mask tool again, and we're going to go up to curves, take a little bit of the blue out. Sometimes if you go a little bit more than you intended, then you can just lower the opacity. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that looks overall now. Her skin's a good colour, her eyes are sharp, the background is faded nicely. So now I'm going to do a little bit of selective blurring. So in Photoshop 6 you have a blur gallery, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to duplicate my layer, and I'm going to go to blur, lens blur. So I have my radius here of 25, my threshold is 255, everything else is at 0. That's fine, that's about the amount of blur that I want. So now everything is blurred, but I'm going to make a mask, and just on the mask of that layer with black, I'm going to paint on the areas that I want to be sharp. So the eyes, then I'm going to lower the opacity. I'm going to bring back in a little bit of this hand here, a little bit up at the hair. So really what you paint on here with different opacities is just your taste of what you want. Sometimes it's good to have a straight line from where the eyes are to show a focal plane, and that way you have the attention focused more on the eyes, and just leaving everything a little bit more blurred out just gives the whole image a little bit of a softer look. So let's see if we can go back to our history. There is our straight out of camera image, and there's our after image that has had a little bit of selective blurring and some skin editing.